Hello students, in our today's lecture we are going to study deuterium exchange, chemical and magnetic environment and solvent selection in proton NMR spectroscopy. So first is deuterium exchange. So simply I told first your reaction, that is this is a alcohol which is reacted with the water. So your alcohol contains one proton which is shows the proton NMR spectroscopy signal. As this water is replaced by deuterium, then due to the absence of proton, it will not give any type of a peak. After this reaction is reaction go further, that is alcohol react with the water. Ultimately, this hydrogen get replaced with the deuterium which is present in the water, and ultimately we give the methanol in which the hydrogen atom is a deuterium and the water which is with hydrogen. So the deuterium exchange is the reaction which generally used for the detection of a presence of a hydrogen in the certain reaction or certain rearrangement. So consider this is the condition is there in which the methanol get reacted with the deuterium water. So in this reaction the signal is given by the alcohol or by the proton which is present in the alcohol here. So we can say that the proton is attached to the alcohol. As this reaction goes further, the hydrogen atom get replaced by the hydrogen which is of deuterium replaced by the water. So ultimately it will not give the peak in next reaction. So if we observe the peak in this spectra and the which is of OH bond or OH group, then the peak which is observed due to this OH is absence in this spectra. So from the observing spectra we can conclude that the hydrogen which is attached to the alcohol get replaced with some another compound, that therefore it is not observed in this spectra. But the water signal will be observed in this spectra because it is a deuterium. So deuterium will not give the any type of a signal in your signal in proton NMR spectroscopy, but as it replaced with the hydrogen, then your hydrogen give the signal in the your spectra of that NMR spectroscopy. So it is the peak disappears since the deuterium is NMR inactive at a proton's frequency. So we can use this technique. For detection of a proton or change in the position of a proton by using the deuterium. Next is a chemical and magnetic environment. So it is a basic general fundamental thing in which we can say magnetically equivalent, means if we says in this condition these two hydrogens are magnetically equivalent proton, means the magnetic field which is experienced by these protons are same. When we can say if we draw a symmetrical line from the compound and the proton which is we are going to be studied are in the same distance or in the same position, like a cis and trans position. So if it is in cis position or trans position but at the same from the symmetrical line, or experience a same magnetic field, that is of induced magnetic field and external magnetic field, means in last lecture we are studying like this. Consider this is your benzene ring and it generates a external magnetic field like this. So your external magnetic these hydrogens are corner of your plane. So ultimately the magnetic field, induced magnetic field at this position and external magnetic field at this position is the same as that of this. So we can say these two are magnetically equivalent. Same like this is a chemically equivalent proton like this. So how can we do the chemically equivalence? So consider this is fluorine or chlorine. So by fluorine is more electronegativity. So first I consider this fluorine. If the functional group is there, then you first consider the functional group. So from the fluorine, this hydrogen is 1, 2, 3 bond away from the fluorine, and this hydrogen also 1, 2, 3 bond away from the fluorine. So it is a chemically equivalent proton. Likewise the fluorine is there which is of 1, 2, 3 or 4 bond away from the fluorine. Ultimately this chlorine is also 1, 2, 3, 4 bond away from the fluorine. So the fluorine is at an equal distance of a chlorine or electronegative group or a functional group, or hydrogen is also at a same, these two hydrogens are also on same distance from the functional group or the higher electronegativity group, so it is known as a chemically equivalent proton. So this is a simple technique. The two functional group can be magnetically equivalent if they feel the same magnetic field, or magnetic field which is induced magnetic field or external magnetic field. And if we say it is a chemically equivalent, then it have a same distance or a same bonding, like this hydrogen 1 2 3 bond away from the fluorine, this also 3 bond away from the fluorine, so we can say it is a chemically equivalent in nature. Next is the solvent. So ultimately, when we use a NMR spectroscopy, we dissolve our sample in a specific solvent and then we run our spectra. So in UV we use a solvent which not having a double bond. Means if in UV we can say if we having a double bond, then the pi electron undergo the excitation, then relax and emit some energy in the form of a wave, and that will give you the spectra. So simply your solvent which are you going to be select in UV spectroscopy does not having a double bond, like you use a ethanol, methanol or NaOH like compound. Likewise, in NMR spectroscopy you choose a solvent which should not contain a proton, because the NMR spectroscopy spectra will give you the signal on the basis of the proton. So if the proton is present in your sample, that will give you the spectra or give you the signal on your spectra. But if your solvent having a proton, then the proton of a solvent will also show some signal on your spectra, and you cannot be conclude that this is of solvent and this is of a drug. So it is advisable that if you prefer a solvent which should not have a proton, so ultimately if it is not having a proton, it will not give any type of signal in your spectra. So ultimately your sample having how much of proton, and that much of proton only give you the signal in your spectra. So it is a first strict condition for the selection of a solvent that it should not contain a proton. So which solvent is used? Like carbon tetrachloride is there, deuterated water is there, carbon disulfide is there, and hexadeuteriobenzene is there. So in these four are mainly used as a solvent in NMR spectroscopy because it is not having a proton. So next is your reference compound. So many of the cases reference compound uses a TMS, that is tetramethylsilane. So in tetramethylsilane we can see that here silane group is there which is at center, and tetramethyl means 4 methyl group which is present in this structure at a equal distance from the silane. So we can say that the magnetic field which is experienced by this proton is same, or we can say the all protons are magnetically equivalent because it under the influence of a same magnetic field or same magnetic field when it is going to be applied as an external magnetic field. So the induced magnetic field and external magnetic field having the same you can say same energy or same frequency at this all proton. So we can say it is the same, or you can say magnetically equivalent proton. So therefore it is used as a reference compound because these all protons are magnetically equivalent. So it will give you a single X signal on your spectra. Only one signal will be observed of all these proton because it is magnetically equivalent. And what is all other benefits of TMS? That is, it is chemically inert, so it will not react with your sample and your sample get protected, and it will show a signal on your spectra. Ultimately TMS show the signal at 0, so it is not get interfered with your drug. Then it is a low boiling point, so it can be easily removed by the evaporation after the spectra. Means you mix your drug or dissolve your drug in your TMS, then take the spectra, and after that you can easily evaporate because it is having a low boiling point. it get easily evaporate and you will get your drug as it is the origin. Then it will give a sharp intense peak at a low concentration also, because the TMS is having a very low concentration, as it is a inert, so it is not react with the substance, but in a very low concentration it will give you the sharp signal. If TMS is not suitable only in an aqueous solution, at that time DSS is preferred, and proton in a methyl group of a DSS give a strong line. Same like in TMS, in further this CH3 group give the signal. Same like in DSS also the methyl group give the signal. So consider this is the spectra of this compound. So we can say that this hydrogen 1, 2 and 3, which is shown in the red color, give this spectra or give this signal on the spectra. So we can say these 3 hydrogens are magnetically equivalent, therefore they will give you the signal here. And this hydrogen which is magnetically not equivalent to this, or it is a different in magnetic environment, so it will give you the different signal. So this is 2 and this is 3, that is a splitting pattern of a signal which we will be studied in coming lectures. So here we just observe that these 3 are magnetically equivalent, so it will give you the one signal which is divided into 2 parts. And this hydrogen which is magnetically different than this, that will give you the separate signal that is in 1, 2, 3, 4 in divided into the 4 part. And our TMS, that is our reference standard, will show the signal at a 0. Okay, so we will measure the delta value with respect to the TMS. Thank you.